Hello, crafty friends. I wanted to take a few minutes and just talk through this whimsical Alice in Wonderland inspired vignette that I made using two of the new Tim Holtz Sizzix Chapter 2 2020 release, and that would be the Artsy Stems and the Abstract Faces. Those are the only dies I used for this piece, and so I do want to take a few minutes to talk through how I was able to make some of these pieces using something that's kind of completely different from the packaging. The Artsy Stems are fairly simple. They won't take much explanation, but I know that some of these other pieces will. So I will take a few minutes to talk through that. Let's start off first. Since I've already discussed the two dies, I will go into them a little bit more in depth in just a moment, but I wanted to talk about kind of the base and some things like that. So the base piece is one of the new Tim Holtz Ideology vignette boxes that was released in 2020. It's a new size. This is the largest of the boxes. And I also used one of the new word plaques. This is Full of Wonder, since it is based on Alice in Wonderland. And I included one of the new keys that says curious on it, because Alice does exclaim that things are getting curiouser and curiouser, and she does find a key. So those were a couple of the ideology things I included. And to cover the front of the vignette box, I did add some of that new design trim, the design tape trims. And I love this new size for covering up the raw edges of the boxes. It's fabulous. All right, I painted using, and I'm going to put some stills in here so that you can see some of the colors that I used. But I did paint using the new Villainous Potion purple to do the outside, and I will talk a little bit more about how I did that. And then I used, I think, Wilted Violet Distress Crayon. And then on the inside, I used a couple of blues to do that background. And then I aged it a little bit with some of the Walnut Stain Crayon on the inside so that it wasn't so bright and vibrant. I wanted it to be a little bit distressed and murky. All right, let's talk about the flowers. I have two sets of flowers in here. So I used all of the stems, and I kind of used the same technique that is used on the packaging. And that is just that I took two pieces of watercolor cardstock, and basically it's one piece that I cut in half, but I colored both pieces. I completely used the other piece, so I don't have it to show you, but you can see that I cut the stems out of this one, and all that I did to color it was just to spray it with different distress colors. So it looks like worn lipstick, and then I used some of the new saltwater taffy, a little bit of mustard seed. This might be a little bit of maybe spice marmalade, and then I think I finished it off over here with some festive berries maybe, or candy apple. And then down here, my go-to pink, my go-to green is peeled paint, and I use some shabby shutters, I believe, there as well. Just let that kind of dry and soak in, and spritz it with some water, and you're good to go. You just lay your stems on there, run it through your die cut machine. The other one had more muted colors that included some purples and peaches and some of those things. So I used a mixture of both of the stems that I cut out for this piece. And so you can see some of them in the back, and you can see some of them in the front. Now that first piece, because there's so much left over, I didn't want to just throw it away. And so I used the leftover bits to cut some of the little things I used for grass stems here and there, and also to cut extra of the leaves so that I could use those as kind of vines coming up through there. So on the stems, what I would do, and you can see these have a lot of the color on them, so that's why I would just cut the stem out of the extra bit of green and not worry about the flower, and then you could just trim right along there and it just looks like a little vine that you can use. And if you cut a couple of the different ones, you have different styles of vines that you can have kind of sticking up throughout the Alice in Wonderland woods that she is going through. That's really all I did there. Now let's get into talking about how I kind of got it to stand up away, and also how I built the Wonderland part, the caterpillar on his toadstool. So these abstract faces aren't really my style of art. And so I was kind of trying to figure out how I would use these with my style. And, but I knew that when I started designing with them that there were just a lot of shapes. And so I figured I just wanted to just look at the shapes and figure it out. So I talked through how I did this with you, and how I built this and how I thought through it in a pre-made video. So I'm going to go ahead and put that in here right now and show you what I was thinking as I looked through these. And then when we come back, I will show you what I did end up doing. All right, well, here is the process portion of my tutorial. And in reality, what's happening right now is that I have these two die sets in front of me, and I have been trying to figure out what it is that I'm going to make with them. And I've kind of got an idea. Not sure how it's going to turn out. You've probably already seen how it turned out. But this is the idea that came to me in the middle of the night. So let me walk you through it. I kind of was feeling Alice in Wonderlandy with this set. So then I thought, well, these are kind of abstract, strange, kind of like Alice in Wonderland. I wonder if I can work them together somehow. And then that led me to, well, what am I going to make? A card. And I could make a card, but I kind of felt like I wanted something 3D. So I pulled out the new square vignette boxes from Tim, and I think I'm going to use the larger one for this project. So I'm going to set that aside. And then the Artsy Stems, I think I'm going to make the kind of gardeny, woodsy flowers. And so I will have, and you know, they're really tall. So I'm going to have the ones that kind of fit in there tall. So I'll have some tall ones in the back. And then I thought I would probably put some and cut them smaller, you know, in the front here, like that a little bit, and to make a 3D image or project. So I'm going to use the stems, definitely. And then I kind of was thinking, well, what can I make out of these shapes? And there's some pretty cool shapes. So let me dump them out so that you can see them, because these do not have to be faces. All right. Always think, what can I do with my dies? You know, I can use these for other things. So obviously we have this awesome heart. Okay, that's a great shape for any time. But then we have this, which is this face. And this is a fun piece. Which looks like a flower, so maybe we could do that. We have these kind of scribbly things. It could be clouds, maybe, right? So some clouds or whatever, that might work. This kind of almost looks like a flower of sorts. Then we've got this half a circle, a little circle. This one reminds me of kind of an apple. These are the lips here. Sorry, these lips. And these lips. So I'm not sure what to do with those quite yet. Then we got that. That's kind of fun. And then these pieces that were like, looks like maybe hair up here, could maybe be eyebrows on a face, right? That's just a little circle. Then we've got two different kinds of eyelashes, and we've got this piece and the hockey stick looking thing, which it looks like was a nose. All right, so there's our pieces that we have. And as I look at them, if I'm thinking Alice in Wonderland, I think I could make a stem. These are backwards because okay, oops. Move these out of the way. Okay. So we've got that. Then we'll have flowers on the sides. Maybe flowers or whatever. Who knows if we're going to use those that way. And you could do, so you're not going to see this part. If I put the toadstool and I use that as kind of an abstract stem, you won't see that. And I could do, this could be a head. I could do a caterpillar. I could do that "Who are you?" guy on there. I think that caterpillars have more parts, but it's abstract, so that will work. And so if you look at this is an eyelash. See, like this one. But I think if you cut it into pieces, that you could do little arms. Each piece could be like little arms on the caterpillar, or feet on the caterpillar. So I think I would set that aside for hands or arms and feet. And I could probably use that part for eyes maybe, or maybe this little part on the apple, or whatever this is. What is this? Oh, it looks like it's a cheek on this thing. But you could maybe use that as eyes for the caterpillar. And maybe the knockout piece of this for even a mouth. But actually, you know what? No, because he's always going, "Who are you?" So I think I might use the circle for his mouth. So I might do that instead. So eyes and mouth. I'm not going to use that, and I don't think I'm going to use this. I think with the I might use this as like some, cut it, and then I could use it as like blades of grass. And even like this could be blades of grass, and this could be blades of grass. So I might do that with those. I don't think I'm going to use those lips and the other eyelash. And I mean, I might use this as a rock behind it to hold it up. That might work if I use that as a rock behind some of these that are going to be out front to hold them up. So I'm going to set this aside too. And I'm keeping this for maybe a mouth. Or I might use that one as a mouth too. So I'm going to put that one away. Okay. So it looks like I'm going to use these for grass, maybe a rock. This is going to be the face of the caterpillar, arms and legs. And I don't like these as, I don't like those for clouds for this particular project. It might be great for other projects, but I think it's going to be too crazy. I'd rather have the flowers. And you know what I could do though? Let me take my caterpillar and my toadstool out. Is that I could, since this is kind of abstract and we're keeping it abstract, I could cut these and stick them along there and fold that over and just go all the way around, cut multiples of these and just make kind of an abstract, and then see, like, you can always stick a little bit of this in there. And just make like an abstract pattern all along on this on the sides. I think that's what I'll do. And that way I can use more of those. So, all right. That's the plan then. Talk through the caterpillar part and the toadstool part. So I know that earlier I talked about the dies that I was going to be using and how I was going to be using those. So what I ended up thinking through was that when I cut this piece to be the toadstool, I then thought, you know, it kind of needs that reveal part underneath. And I haven't colored this yet, so I don't know if I'm going to keep it this way. But I ended up taking and putting the die this way and cutting off the bottom of one of the triangles that I cut, so that hopefully that would look like, you know, the bottom part of a toadstool once I watercolor it. And then I was going to use this for the stem, but I didn't want it to have all the scallops. So I'm going to put them together like this, and just so that it has the scallops for that kind of abstract look, but it also looks like, you know, it fits the size of the toadstool for that. So I will put that together like that. And then for the caterpillar that's going to go on top, so this is going to have to go up a little bit more. So for the caterpillar that's going to go on top, I used this die. And once I got it cut, I kind of thought it is abstract, but I just thought this whole center connection part was just too thin. And so I decided that it needed something kind of like an outline. So I just held it on another piece of watercolor cardstock, and I just cut around it. It's not even nicely done because this isn't perfectly done. It almost looks hand cut as it is. So I just hand cut around it, all the way around it. And then I think I will color this a lighter green, so that this would be like the inside of each section on the caterpillar. And this I'm going to do in a darker green. And then for the head, I had cut this out, and so I did the same thing. I just put this down and I cut around it, and then when I attach it, I'll color them the same colors, And I will put this there, and then I'll go ahead and stick this on. And so that will look like a caterpillar. And I cut 4 of the eyelashes, this eyelash. Like on this one, I'll probably just cut it like that, so it looks like a little bit like an elbow. This one, I'll have to turn it over for the other side so that it looks like the hands are kind of. I think this one looks a little bit more like a shoe, like the one from the Disney cartoon. It looks like he has little gold shoes, so I'll probably color these gold, and then I'll put his little shoes there. Like the story in Alice in Wonderland, I wanted to give him a kind of a face where it looked like he was saying, "Who are you?" And he has horns in most of the photos, and he also, in the Disney version, he has little feet on his bottom half and little arms on his top half. So for the feet and the arms, I went ahead and used the eyelashes because I thought this one looked like shoes and this one looked like an arm. And 2 of them go one way and 2 of them go the other way. So you kind of have to flip this over when you're cutting. That it works that way for both of them. So I'll show you on this piece once it's cut. So there's the little shoe and there's the little arm, and you just trim them apart with your scissors. All right. For his face, I just built his face using pieces from the cheeks. I think, oh no, this is the, I'm sorry, this is the mole and the cheek on this one. So I just used these little cutout parts and this little piece, and I just kind of built my own face. So you could just build your own face that way. His eyebrow, if you want to look at the eyebrow, the little eyebrow is from the lips on the bottom one. So the lips look like this, and then I just cut off the bottom part of the lips to use this part on the top as his little eyebrow. And the horns are from that same piece. It's the part that comes out. So his horns are this part right here. And I just attached them, and then I attached this little circle that's the mole on the heart face. Okay. And that's how I built the caterpillar. I have the toadstool, and then I have these flowers in the front are stuck to some rocks. The rocks are this piece that is the, I don't know exactly, a mask, or I'm not sure what that is, but it's that yellow piece. I cut 3 of them out of watercolor cardstock, and then I just kind of curved them and used them as rocks so that I could attach the flowers and I could attach the toadstool to it. And then I wanted still more greenery, and so I just grabbed whatever I could that I thought could make grass. So this piece, which I think is a piece of the hair on this part, so I cut it right here. And then I used those. And again, you want these to go 2 different ways. And so you want to cut it on the color down like this, and then you want to turn it over and cut it this way as well, so that your blades of grass can go both directions when you're doing that. And then this one I used as grass as well. And once you cut it, this piece that comes out can be used as a blade of grass. So let me see if I have one that I can show you of that. It's right here. Here's one of them. So you don't even see because they're just all blending in. But there's one of those. And then you will take, and I took my scissors and I just cut like this. Okay, and cut that off so that this looked like a blade of grass that came up. And where would that be? That's this one. So I cut right along here. And so that's that piece. And then the piece that's left over kind of looks almost like a sickle or something like that. And so I just stuck those in the back as greenery, and you can't really tell that they were kind of strangely shaped. So I just stuck them in the back. But you can see they just look like blades of grass when you stick them on there. So yeah, so there's that one. And then this one back here is that one. And I cut it backwards for that piece. Okay. So that's how I did my grass. And I think we did it. And then you just cover up any little areas where there's gaps or anything like that. Just throw a little bit of moss in there and it covers it up, you know, very nicely. So that's all I had to do to make this whimsical, kind of crazy, I know, but piece based on Alice in Wonderland. So thank you so much for stopping by. If you have any questions that I didn't answer for whatever reason, please email me through my blog. There is a contact little space on the right hand side in the right column, and I'll be glad to try and get back to you and answer any questions that you may have about this piece. So thanks, my friends, for stopping by, and have a crafty day. Thank you.